Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to show how to do some graphing of parabolas. So I have a couple of different tools and sort of looks I want to show. So this first one's going to be in standard form where we're going to graph y equals 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. Now when we're given something in standard form, a couple pieces of information I'm given. I know that my parabola is going to be going up like this because it has a is 2. And I also know that my intercept is going to be at 2 on the y-axis, so right there. Now, in order to find the intercept or the vertex, let's try to erase that. There we go. In order to find the vertex, I need to do the whole negative b over 2a thing. Well, my b is negative 5, so negative 5 is going to be just regular old 5 over 2 times 2. And so that means that my b is 5 over 4. Now this is a little bit awkward, but it is what it is. Now, what I do with this is I'm going to take this value and I'm going to put it back into my function. And so that's the 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. And so that's going to be 2 times 5 over 4 squared, come on, work with me there, minus 5 over 4, come on, 5 over 4, plus 2. Now, I've already crunched the numbers off to the side, and I found out that that ends up giving me negative 1.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my board a little bit so I have some space to work on. And now I have a vertex, and that vertex is the x-coordinate here and the y-coordinate there. And so I'm going to have to kind of ballpark it here, and sometimes this is how it works with parabolas. At 5 over 4, which is about 1.2, I have to go down 1.25. So that's roughly there. Now what this means is I have an axis of symmetry going through right here. So I can try to mirror this distance right there with my other point, and I have that. Now the other thing I want to show is how we could get the x-intercepts. And so if you're given something in standard form, sometimes it might just help to try to factor it and see what happens. And so if I factor this, it's going to break down to 2x and x. And then my factor is going to be 2, 1, and then let's see, if I go minus, it all works out. So at 2, I have an x-intercept, and at 1/2, I'm going to have an x-intercept as well. All right. And so at 1/2, I have an x-intercept, and at 2, I have an x-intercept. Oop, that's not 2, that's 3. That's 2. Now I have what I think is my parabola. And so I'm going to start drawing it out the best I can. And then the moment of truth, let's do show graph and see how that looks. Oops. Looks like I went a little too far there with my vertex. I'm not quite sure where that point came from, but yeah, I did label this point as my vertex. Okay, so originally that's what I meant to. I don't know why I went so far down there. But anyways, we now have all of that. So that's how you can graph something in standard form. Let's take a look at what you do when something is what I would call factor form. All right, so here, what this does, y equals the quantity x plus 3 times the quantity x minus 2, that immediately tells me where my zeros are. And so my zeros are going to be at negative 3 and at positive 2. Now, here's a little hack here. If we want, we can take a look at the difference between these guys right here. All right, and that difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at 2.5 between these two is where my vertex is going to be. And so if I were to go to 2.5, that's going to be right here. So x equals negative 1/2 is where my vertex is going to be. Oh, there we go. Now what I can do is plug that into the equation. And so I'm going to have, see if this will work out for me, negative 1/2 plus 3 times negative 1/2, come on, work with me here, minus 2. There it is. All right, we're getting there. And so let's see here. That is going to be 2.5 times negative 2.5. So 2.5 times negative 2.5 gives me negative 6.25. All right, and so by doing this, I was able to discover that my y value is negative 6.25. And so I go down to my, go down on my graph to about negative 6.25. That's right about there. And there, oh, no, on half, right there, cool. All right, that is where my vertex is going to be, right there. So now let me clean this up a little bit. So now I have 3 points. That's great. If I want to, though, I can get another point. So if I take a look at my my quadratic, x plus 3, x minus 2, if I were to FOIL it, the last thing I'm going to get is negative 6. Oh, negative 6 as my c term. And so what that means is that my my y-intercept is at negative 6. And then I can use the mirror line to put one right there. And now I have a bunch of different points I can use to try to draw the graph to the best of my abilities. And now, moment of truth, let's see how I did. Not half bad. I like it. Looks good. All right, let's do one more. This one's going to be a little bit easier here. So here, I'm going to drag, and then the graph here on the left in a second, I think, will show up and show what we have. So now this one's in vertex form. And what I have, there it is, from the graph, is my vertex is going to be at the point 3, 8. All right. I know that because it's in vertex form, I borrowed the negative 3 and I swap its sign to make it 3, and then I just use the plus 8. So I need to take my vertex and I need to move it to 3, 8, which is right there. Cool. Now, a couple of things I can do. One, I could use the A trick to realize that all I have to do is go down, so right there, go down 2 over 1. Now I think that, no, that's not 2. That would be 2 over 1. That works out quite well. But I also want to show how to get an x-intercept here. So we have potential points here and here. Oops. Here and here. That's great. But now let's talk about how can we find those x-intercepts. Well, I take my negative 2 times the quantity x minus 3 squared plus 8, and I set that equal to 0. So negative 2 x minus 3 squared, and then what I'm going to do, since it's equal to 8, I'm going to set it equal to 0. I'm going to set it equal to negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 2, and what ends up happening is that gives me the quantity x minus 3 squared is equal to 4. Now, what I can do from this is take the square root of both sides, and so I have x minus 3 equals plus or minus 2. I'm going to clean up some of my work here, because that's really what I need. So if I add 3 to both sides, x, so let's see, if I add, so my eraser, there we go. I add 3. I'm either adding 3 to 5, okay, so that means, or sorry, I'm going to add 3 to 2, so that means it's going to be 5. So what I want to do is take my graph, take this point, and put it at 5. And then if I were to subtract it, so if I add 3, it's going to, and then it was negative 2, that would be 3 minus 2, which is 1, which I'm assuming is what this would be right here. And so just going to want to show you how to find the vertex from this, and then how the A trick is a possibility, but we could also use something that's in vertex form to find some x-intercepts. And so now, moment of truth, see how my graph did? Oh, spot on. I like that a lot. All right, and there we go. That is how we can graph in some of these different formats. It's all about, first of all, finding the vertex, and then after you found the vertex, use the information that's given to you and try to make it as easy as possible. Good luck on your homework or practice, and let me know if you have any questions.